Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. Today we're out at the Ontario crit, Majestic crit number 2. Been kind of laying low lately. My heart issues jumped back or came back to start bothering me a little bit these last couple weeks, so I didn't do CVR. Hopefully I got things in order, and let's see if my heart will hold up today and see if we can get a good result.
Okay, I'm back. Had to take a little hiatus, try to get my health back in order, but yeah, it's time to test it again, so let's get rolling here. You know, I'm going to give a quick shout out at the beginning too, because Abe from InCycle, you know, does all the bike fits and things of that nature, has helped me out plenty of times. I didn't know he was in this race. I saw him after the race, but I didn't realize that he was in the race. So yeah, shout out to Abe jumping out there and, you know, competing again or competing for the first time, either way. I hadn't seen him at the other races, so it was good to see a familiar face out there. And I can tell from some of the video and pictures that, you know, we were riding next to each other a lot. So yeah, young man right here with the gold jersey. I spent a little time with him too. He was pretty steady wheel to follow. We were pretty calm, kind of joking around and having a little fun and listening to all the madness around us. So I was pretty determined this race to get up to the front as necessary. I was just kind of practicing surfing the peloton and being able to move up when I can without using too much energy. My goal actually was probably not realistic, but my goal was to see if I can average less than 200 watts for the entire race. I was trying to see if I can use as little watts as possible and make it through this race. And unfortunately, I averaged 226, which isn't bad at all. You know, anytime you kind of average way less than your threshold, you know, it's a decent job. And then just a note on my heart issue, I didn't have any issues this race, but my heart, I noticed when I see the metrics of this video, which basically this is basically the first time me watching this video. I kind of saw it when I was uploading it because I have to do a couple upload processes, but my heart was actually pretty high the whole time, sometimes up into 185, which normally 188 is my max. However, I did not feel taxed like that at all during this race. It actually felt really easy, and I was comfortable for the most part the entire time. I was never gassed, really, never in trouble of getting dropped or anything like that. So even though my heart rate is going to be pretty high most of the time, and I think I averaged 179, my threshold's about 177 or so, 175. I never really felt that tired or anything, so it felt easy, and I felt like I had a lot of energy still, even at the end of the race. So here we're just filling it out. You know, it's only the second lap basically, and it's kind of stretched out. It always starts off a little bit fast and then it settles. Trying to figure out who's a good wheel to be around, who's a little sketch. And there were a few sketch people. I'm not going to call anybody out as far as like, you know, judging them as far as if they're sketchy or not. However, I will call out actions. So if you do something that's a little questionable, but like the two guys right there to the right, to the left, they're on the same team. And it looks like the teammate tries to shoot up the inside. And that's the theme of this race basically is, you know, I like to do it myself and I do call out inside, but just for clarification and put a little context to it, when I call out inside, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, what I'm saying is when I call out inside, I try to move up next to the rider that I'm going inside of before we get to the turn, and then I let him know I'm on his inside, so we can both hold a tighter line to the inside. And what it seemed to be turned into habit on this race is a lot of racers were yelling inside, coming from way behind, dive bombing the turn, and the person that they're yelling inside to can't even see them. They don't know they're there yet. And they're not obligated to move for you. If you yell inside and you dive to the inside, it is your responsibility to hold a tight line, not just dive in there and expect the peloton to shift to the right so you can, you know, make the turn. It's your responsibility to hold a tight line, and if you get cut off or if the rider doesn't want to let you in the inside, that's their right as well. So just to clarify that, just yelling inside doesn't give you the right to that. tarmac, you know, to that little space that you're fighting for. There you see the 523 and 541 bumping over there. It's kind of the same deal. It's yeah, you got to be steady on your bike. To be honest with you, I kind of take a little philosophy is I need 24 inches. You know, it's kind of like your handlebar width and a little extra. Other than that, yeah, you got to stay pretty much within those 24 inches, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people say riding rollers will make you better, is, you know, just able to hold a steady line. I practice a lot, like on my endurance rides. I practice riding the white line, you know, off to the right of the road, and I just keep my tire in the white line, you know, and literally for miles, I'll just keep my tire in the white line. It actually turns white on the top when I'm doing that drill, but yeah, it's just, you know, we only have a little bit of space here, and we're going pretty high speed. So anyway, let's get to some racing. Pace is still going pretty good. We're at 27, 28 miles per hour, and if you notice the difference between like the girls race, a lot of the women in Cat 4 or 5, they're a lot further to the right coming through here, and you see how we're carrying a higher pace, and we hug like the middle of the road to the left side. It just makes the course a little bit smaller. We're wide here, but whoever's up front, they should cut the corner and hold momentum going up the little false flat. There goes one of my teammates, Jorge or George. We had a pretty good plan going today, and it kind of came through, or came to where we were able to pull off our plan, you know, before things got shut down. So here I'm floating a little bit, kind of following after my wife of not, you know, being assertive here on which wheel I wanted to take. So I'm not really out in the wind too much, but I'm not exactly committed to a wheel either. And here's an example. I tell George that I'm on the inside, and he's my teammate, and he still cut me off. But it wasn't his fault that he cut me off, but that's the point that I was trying to make earlier. There's people to his right, so he can't move over to the right and just let me in, even though I'm his teammate, and even though I told him I was on the inside. He has to still hold that line that he's kind of boxed into, and it's my responsibility to either get there and hold the line, or I'm going to be forced to grab a little break and back off. I got Dr. Chocolate in front of me right now. He makes some good vids. I think this is his second race or third race. I'm not sure if he did CBR or not, but he's one of the kind of bigger guys in the race, so I'm behind two of the bigger guys in the race right now, so I love this position, and I was kind of content just getting a little draft here. Even though my goal overall is I'm going to try to move up. Pace is still actually decent. It's slowing down a little bit. And it's kind of funny because I was able this week to pretty much move up and down the way I wanted to and kind of go wherever I wanted. It actually felt good I was coming off a recovery week, so I wasn't too tired, didn't have any intervals during the week or anything. I just did some leg openers yesterday, and I felt pretty fresh, so it was good to have good legs under you and kind of be able to go wherever you wanted to. So I think the race is kind of settling down now, and it's kind of stabilizing a little bit. You see we're still strung out pretty good, about 3 wide. Pretty comfortable where I'm at here next to Dr. Chocolate to my right. The couple races that I've been in with him, he's been really stable. Or the one race that I've been in with him, he's been stable. I watched his film as well. And there's Abe right there in the kind of rainbow tie-dye jersey. Here's my opportunity, so I thought I'd take it and move up. Even though it looks like I'm in the wind here, I'm actually getting a pretty good draft because the actual wind comes off the right a little bit. So I was able to move up about 4, 5, 6 spots right there. Haven't seen too much sketchiness going on yet, but give that guy a little shout out there that I'm on his inside. But if you noticed, I moved up next to him first, went through the corner with about the same speed that he did, and that's where we get in trouble when there's a huge speed difference and the person on the inside's carrying all that speed. It makes it difficult to be able to hold a sharp, tight line there. All right, for sure the pace is kind of settled. I felt really good again, about this race. I got two of my teammates in this race, Jorge and Francisco. Francisco's also my training partner, super strong. So we come together a little later here after joking around with the Go Fast guys who were trying to terrorize the race a little bit. It was kind of funny to watch. I think right here they go off the front, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to chase it, but I'm also not going to let it happen. So I yell out, hey, go get them, they're teammates. And of course I just sit in though. It was kind of fun. They're like, hey, you're shouting out our plan, I was like, well, yeah, unfortunately you got to do it. For this race to have unfortunately a couple crashes and stuff like that, and we're Cat 5, so it's always a little sketch. Honestly, Cat 4 is not any better, especially this year, how you can move up whenever you want. I know a lot of people that were beginner racers and they moved to Cat 4 already, and it's kind of funny because everyone thinks everyone else is the sketchy rider. It's like, no, it's not me. I'm a beginner too, but it ain't me. It has to be everyone else. It's like, well, if we had a big mirror or a crystal ball, we'd probably see all of our mistakes, which is, I'm glad this year there's so many GoPros out there. I've watched about four races already before I was able to get my video out, and this is only 2 days later. So yeah, it's really good to see from different angles, see what's going on behind you, see what's going on in front of you. So there's Go Fast again, trying to push the pace, got another flyer. Can't remember how many teammates they had. I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4, but they kind of tag teamed a little bit here and just took turns going off the front, picking up the pace. I'm not sure if they really wanted to break the stick or if they just wanted to tax people's legs a little bit. I definitely had a plan of just sitting in though, and I pretty much did that for most of the day. And it's kind of funny because after editing my wife's video, we almost look like, I don't know, like we're on rails compared to the women's Cat 4 or 5 race. That thing was a little sketch. It was pretty much out of character, I think, for this year so far, and I hope that's not how it's going to be every race. But yeah, can't wait till Dr. Chocolate's video comes out too. I'm pretty sure he has some good angles. We're always kind of hovering around each other. It's almost a little touch there, but no one panicked, held their line, and that's really what we have to do. We can't overreact to everything that goes on in a race. I mean, if we keep racing, eventually every one of us out here, we're probably going to get caught in a crash sooner or later. That's just the nature of it, and you kind of got to come to grips with that before you lace them up, before you put a leg over the bike. You got to come to grips with, yes, I may hit the deck. That's the same thing if you're going to go on fast group rides. No one's immune to it, and the more you ride, eventually it happens. We still got a decent pace. On this course last year, we were actually a little over a mile per hour faster this year. I think I averaged 24.3 or 24.2, something like that last year, and I believe I did 25.6 on Sunday. So mile per hour faster is pretty good. Definitely I'm more fit this year than I was last year, even though I'm having some health issues. The actual fitness is not that bad. Just can't do anything about my genetics and the deteriorating with age thing. It's funny, narrating the video, everything looks actually pretty stable. So maybe it's just the wheels that I'm following and the people I'm around, but yeah, it doesn't look as sketch on video as it felt, and as I can hear the carnage around me on Sunday. But So far, it's not too bad. But that can change at any second. You know, I watched another video. I think his name is Marcelo. He has another video, does commentary also. Give him a look if you can. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, he catches both crashes, I believe, on video. I think the crashes are, of course, avoidable. They're just kind of a little bit of bad decisions. But give his channel some love. Hopefully he'll be doing videos every week. He puts his thought process to it also, so we can all kind of learn from each other and just build off of those thought processes. So far, I'd have to give myself at least a C+. I wouldn't probably go any higher than that. There's some times where I've kind of lagged off the wheel a little bit or just been a little hesitant, but other than that, I'm saving energy. Pretty much sticking to the wheel, and I'm, you know, for the most part, I'm using very low watts. You know, there's a couple surges here and there, but most of my surges are under 400 watts. And I mean, if I'm only surging to the mid 200s, then that's like nothing. So you can pretty much do that. Not all day, you know, I don't want to exaggerate, but you can do that for a long time. So I also had to catch myself in this race. Like, I like to carry corner speed. I hate hitting my brakes through the corners, and I've almost, like, you know, ran up on people a couple times, and it took me probably 3 laps before I said, okay, you're just stupid now. If you're gonna do the same thing every time and get brake checked, you know, that's on me. That's not on the rider in front of me. They're taking their corner at whatever speed they're comfortable with, and I need to make the adjustment, or I need to go to the front. So, you know, it's just sometimes we have to take ownership of some of the knucklehead things that we do and try to point at everyone else saying, oh, that person's hitting their brakes. Okay, well, go to the front then if they're hitting their brakes. Get some clean air in front of you and, you know, brake at whatever speed or pace you want to go through the corner, and kind of stop blaming everyone else. There goes the famous everyone yelling inside. It could have been me. But yeah, everyone was yelling inside. At one point, I was kind of joking, but at the same time I wasn't. I was like, look, everybody cannot come to the inside. I think there was 4 people yelling inside, and I was just thinking, there's only one spot there. You know, there's only one spot, and you got 4 guys yelling inside on the same corner. So it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe it's desperation or just, you know, a habit that rubbed off to everyone. And I need to start learning everyone's name. Can't remember, I don't know his name from Go Fast. I believe it's Rue Runner is his Instagram, but I think he has a video out here as well. And we kind of joked around a little bit during the race. We're just having fun. They're having fun also. Like I said, they're trying to control the race a little bit and terrorize people. Yelling false claims to people to get them to chase other riders and things like that, and it was all in good fun, but we were all just sitting next to each other laughing because we weren't going to put any effort in and chase it down. And you hear them yell, and then someone goes off the front and tries to catch, you know, whoever's on the brake, and it's just like, that brake's not going anywhere. No one's organized, and honestly, none of us are strong enough to just ride away from the entire pack. You know, maybe with a couple laps to go, but you know, we're not in the higher classes where it's organized and people work together, or somebody has just a massive FDP and can just time trial it to the end. There goes another flyer there off the front. And you know, eventually we'll get to a point where someone doesn't chase it and it's going to be a strong rider and they end up making it to the end. But for the most part, in Cat 5, sometimes Cat 4 as well, like a lot of those breaks don't make it. We're back strung out again though, so the pace is, you know, picked up a little bit. That false front there, or false flat, is not really steep. I think it's only 1.5%. And, you know, if we did more laps, it'd probably get taxing at a certain point. But you can actually carry some pretty good speed through there. And here's just a little thing of etiquette. If you guys see there, Go Fast was on Go Fast's wheel. I kind of had the opportunity to take it, but they're teammates, and I saw he was trying to get to it. I'm not going to fight him for his teammate's wheel. I mean, we're 6 laps away or something. There's no need for me to get into that. So I just told him, go ahead, and I backed off. He got his wheel. And you see my teammate was there. I knew Go Fast was plotting. They wanted to go off the front again, and Francisco's really strong. And I told him, I said, hey, when they go with them. And, you know, yeah, it would have been nice to be able to see, but then the race kind of gets shut down. So, and of course, they're laughing at me because they're like, he heard us talking. So it's kind of funny. But Francisco goes up to the front now, and he's super strong. So he pulls at just under 400 watts for like a lap and a half, just kind of stretching out the pace. And it's funny because 400 watts goes a long way, but not when you're pulling the Peloton. You're pulling the Peloton, you're doing 380 on the front. And yeah, there's somebody going to sit in your wheel and they're doing 280, you know, or 250. And that's just some of the things that we have to learn. We have to learn how to create breaks. And typically we won't commit to it because we're afraid of popping. And you have to sprint at the beginning. You have to get separation before you set into your threshold or VO2, whatever effort you're going to do for however many minutes you're going to do it. And that's especially if you're going by yourself. So it's kind of hard to commit to that if you also plan on having a high finish. So once you commit, you kind of have to know, like, yeah, I might pop. 1, I might get caught. 2, I might pop. And if I do pop, I'm going to have to, you know, get out of the wind, recover as fast as possible, and hope no one else attacks at that time. Here's another opportunity where I'm kind of getting shielded from the wind. I was able to move up, get back on Go Fast's wheel here. Again, another steady wheel that I can follow, and I don't have to worry about too many like erratic movements or anything like that. So I was a little torn here though because my teammate's off the front, and the pace was kind of, I mean, it's fast, but it's not that fast. And I was feeling pretty good, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to just attack off the top here. I am not a high FTP guy, but yeah, I can do, I know what I can do for 5 minutes, you know, and I'm thinking, we have 3-4 laps to go. 4 laps is going to be 6 minutes, about just over 6 minutes. And, you know, 3 laps is probably going to be roughly a little under 5 minutes. So I wasn't sure I wanted to commit to that. I had saved energy most of the race, so I decided to just sit in. But I was going to go with any move at this point if anyone goes over the top of Francisco. So there's Francisco right there in the blue. He's kind of chilling now because after his lap, he looked and, you know, everybody's still on him. He's just pulling the Peloton. So we just said, like, okay, they caught up to me, so I'm just going to shut it down. And then I just go off the front here with Go Fast, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to sit here on his wheel. We're going into 3 laps left, so we're sitting pretty here. I didn't really want to be on the front. I'd rather be in about 5th, 6th position because my best chance for a high finish is sprinting. So yeah, I didn't want to go any closer than this, so I'm more than happy that these guys are coming up and, yeah, give me a little better draft. I don't know my man's name off the front. Big guy up there. You know, he has muscles on top of muscles. I think his calves need like their own bikes, but he's up there doing a good pull, and yeah, I was happy to see it because, yeah, it's a lot. There's a big draft coming off of that. It's like the wake of like an aircraft carrier or something. So I'm like, yeah, I'll chill here. This is where I want to be anyway. I want to be right here in about 6th position, and that's like perfect to get on, be able to launch on for a sprint after the pace picks up if I can sit here. The only thing we have to do is keep the pace high though, so we won't get swarmed going into like 2 laps to go. And the pace actually does drop down. Francisco had it up pretty high. I think we came through here at 26, 27, something like that when he was off the front. But, you know, so right now, as you can see, as we are getting swarmed again, and this is what happens when the pace slows down. I know a lot of people watch Legion, their videos, and that's one of the reasons why they, group up, get the Peloton, get their train going and try to keep the pace high because they don't want to get swarmed. They don't want anyone to take a flyer or anyone go off the front with a couple laps left, because there are guys strong enough in their race that can just time trial it for 5 minutes or something and not get caught. So you want to keep the pace really high if you're planning on a bunch sprint. And here, unfortunately, is where the guy was hurt. He's laying down right there in the middle of the road, and unfortunately he needed medical attention. We definitely hope he's okay. I know a lot of guys were upset that the race was like canceled on the next lap, but realistically, it's not important. I mean, I heard people saying just get him out of the way, but yeah, that's not right. I mean, we feel invincible sometimes because this is a sport where we don't really crash that often. We ride a lot of miles a year and we don't really hit the pavement. But when you do hit the pavement, it's not forgiving. I mean, that concrete is hard. I remember my wife and I, because of my mistake, we crashed one time over some train tracks because I was talking and we were messing around in the morning. I took her out and we were only going like, I don't know, 10 miles per hour or something. And it wasn't pleasant. I mean, you hit the ground so fast, so hard. And yeah, so, it's more important to get someone medical attention if needed. And all of us can race again another day. Watching other people's videos and hearing all the comments, everyone had the same plan once it slowed down here. Everyone had a I'm about to sprint for a win plan, and that was going to be some serious carnage. We're not as good as we think, and everyone thought they had a chance to win on this race right here. So this is pretty much it. As we turn the corner here, they're going to be in the middle of the road, kind of stopping us. And it's kind of the end of the day for us. So overall, I was happy with being able to save as much energy as possible. I didn't meet my goal of being under 200 watts, but 226 is not bad, and I think it's the lowest watts I've averaged in a crit so far. So it's moving in the right direction. I know a lot of people like to see high power numbers, but I don't know, honestly, when you're in the race, you want your power to be as low as possible. Train high, win low, or race low. Yeah, so I think that's a wrap.
Well, who's the time trialer? We got a 1-lap time trial.
All right, so we got another race down, another one in the books. Went pretty good. It was actually not too hot of a pace or anything. It was kind of, I don't know if slow is the right word, but we were in pretty good position, had a good plan going. Unfortunately, we had a rider crash and looked like he was hurt pretty bad. So let's send our prayers out to that rider, hope he's all right. And the race got called. We all basically got a bunch finish, and that's about it. But I think the plan was good, and we were in good position most of the day. And hopefully we'll be able to get in Marietta. I think it's already full, but we'll see if it opens up or not.